Welcome to the Longbox Paradox. Today we're going to be talking about a couple of curated picks that came out this week. We're going to start out with Dark Horse Comics' Last Stop on the Red Line. Last Stop on the Red Line is somewhat of a supernatural mystery. The cover actually drew me in on this one. Starts out with these kids on the subway line, and as they're getting off, the one kid gets pushed off. It looks like a tiger claw almost hitting him. There's been a murder on the subway, and as the book goes on, we find out there's all these monsters basically in Boston. It was an interesting first issue. It was not what I expected from looking at the cover, what it showed versus what was in it. So far, I'm pretty hooked on the story. I think this could be one of those sleeper books. I'm going to give it 6.5, 7 out of 10. Mainly because it was just enough to hook me in to make me want more of what it's offering. I'm kind of a sucker for supernatural and horror type books. This has a little bit of both. Definitely. I imagine it has a low print run. This easily could be something I could see being turned into a TV series at some point, just because of how off the wall it is. It's a pickup for me. So moving on, gonna go to DC Comics, and let me start out with the bad, and then I'll get to the good. I'm not even gonna give this book the respect of having any images taken from it. I got the text at 2 in the morning that Batman 71 was kind of bonkers. So I did what I normally do, and I went on Comixology and downloaded it. And good lord, this book was nonsense. Basically, there's two stories, and I guess you have to decide which one is the real one going on. There's one with Bruce in the Batcave, and he's seeing an intruder alarm triggering and going upstairs where Bane and his father are there and Alfred's serving them. And then the other story where Bruce puts this red filter over the bat signal and sets it off, triggering that all of his colleagues need to come help him. And yeah, that's honestly a bunch of bullshit. This whole book is bullshit. We get to the end, and Alfred's telling Bruce that Bane's broken him. And then in the other story, they're all accusing him of losing his mind because Selina left him at the altar. And it ends with him punching Tim Drake out. This is just a stupid fucking book. It's a steady decline to nonsense, and then there's this article out the other day saying that issue 75 is going to change the status quo forever of Batman. I mean, you already changed the status quo. You made a great character terrible. Just bad. I'm going to give this 2, and I'm giving it a 2 out of respect for the artist, because the art was fine, but the writing is just bullshit. It's terrible, and I'm going to move on from this now to a book I am currently loving, and that is Naomi #5 came out. The speculation darling, and actually a good book to read. This one, Naomi now understands her powers. She knows her past. She knows the origin of her parents, where she came from, how her parents got their powers. So the whole rumor that she's a White Lantern, Black Lantern, that's all bullshit. Her alternate Earth, basically, if you ever read J. Michael Straczynski's Rising Stars, or even the Whole New Universe with a White event, basically this event happens and 29 people get superpowers from it, and some of them of course go bad. One of them changed the Earth, and I'm guessing is going to be the main antagonist. He shows up at the end of the book, finding out the backstory and kind of learning through, I guess, their generic version of the Kryptonian crystals. It was actually entertaining. Gave this book 8 out of 10. This has been a good run so far. I like where it's going. It was slow to build. Sales-wise, this book still, I think what's feeding the speculation is it's still been under-ordered. I want to say book 4 was 19,000 and change, at least in the estimated Comic-Con numbers. So that speculation on this book and desire to have this book is probably going to continue feeding the early issues. I can't imagine this one probably being less than 30,000 ordered, because I think now the retailers are starting to catch up. Again, when you have to order 2 months ahead, sometimes you just don't catch it in time, and you're trying to modify your orders to need, but as the desire for it grows, you can only adjust so much, because every retailer is scared of being stuck with extras. You order what's subscribed and a little over. Anyway, a great book. Pick it up. I imagine with issue 5 out now, it might go to issue 6. We'll get trade 1, which I think will probably do very, very well, especially for the people who have been kind of buying the issues but not actually reading them. Then they can get the trade and read them. Yes, speculators do that. It happens. You're basically chasing it like it's a stock. From Image Comics, we have Low, and the series is getting ready to end. We are with Stell Kane and Zem, her now husband, and the doctor in the overworld is offering to free them because the Helm King and his Burnt Legion are going to invade the last 2 undersea cities and domes and break them. Stell finally reveals that she's pregnant with Zem's child. We're also looking at the 2 underground cities that are left, are underwater cities, and one, Volden, is getting ready to invade the other ones. I say Zalem. Can't remember the name of the city. I just read it. Anyway, so as that's happening, Tajo is trying to fix the air supply, so at least the main hub of the city is going to still have air. It's finally running out of air. It's Salas. Salas is the name of the city. It's finally starting to run out of air. It's becoming almost uninhabitable. We have other characters that end up showing up. Basically, it's all leading to this giant war. It starts going off as the issue's ending, and also Stell finds the probes. The Helm King had saved all the probes that fell out of the sky that actually had the inhabitable world's info. Great issue. I imagine the next couple of issues are going to be bonkers, because this just set off a giant war right at the end. I'm excited to see where it goes. Probably not the best issue I have read of it. It was still good, but I'm probably at around a 6 or 7 out of 10 on this. It was a lead-up issue, and I know that usually those are weak and you have to fill in blanks. I'm excited to see where this goes. And Marvel Comics, Guardians of the Galaxy number 5. Holy shit, this was an interesting issue. We go from Quill being resuscitated, having broken ribs from the end of last issue. We're into the Cosmic Ghost Rider and his team bring Gamora before Eros. And he gives the Wraith the info he wanted on Null. And then from there, Hela shows up with the Black Order, runs Gladiator through, and reveals that the only way for Thanos to be reborn is as a Titan. and it was never Gamora. And as she says that, Thanos' personality takes over Star Fox, and he all of a sudden can walk again, and he kisses Hela. Hela completely just demoralized Cosmic Ghost Rider, and she has made a new body for Thanos, and she says, I've never been good at making life. And as Thanos' personality is getting ready to transfer in this new body, he says how, he's kind of disappointed that his brother will not be able to survive the transfer. Donny Cates does it again. This slow building up to this, but I thought it was very good. Probably the best of this Guardians of the Galaxy run. And Geoff Shaw's art I'm not always in love with. It worked very well in this issue. I'm gonna probably give this 7.5. This was the best out of the run so far. Moved well. I thought the pacing was the best on this issue than it had been for the whole run. I very much enjoyed it. I'm kind of curious if this is, now that they had the Wraith getting information on Null, how or why he's hunting Null, and if this is going to play out in some way and he's going to come back. Super interesting. It's worth a pick up. Definitely it is a book that you could pick up as a trade as well, and I think you do well reading it in one sitting as opposed to issue by issue. Also, there is a variant out this week that I can see taking off, because I don't know how many people ordered this damn book, but there's a Jen Bartel variant that was a 1 in 25 on Marvel Tales Iron Man, and there's a 1 in 50 Virgin variant. 1, it's an expensive book. 2, I don't know how many people really are going to order that much of this basically classics book that has just reprinted stories in it. Jen Bartel's pretty hot artist who people kind of chase down her work, and Iron Man is a character I didn't think she'd really do the art on, so it's interesting. And the Virgin might end up shooting up in price. I want to say, like, basically if you go by price and the ratio of what people need to order, I want to say Comics Heating Up said it'd be like $200, or was Comic Book Invest $200 just the retail of what you'd have to charge on it. So it's one to keep an eye on. Ton of War of the Realms book this week. I kind of stay away from that. I also apologize ahead of time for, or not ahead of time, but I apologize for me just trashing Batman, but I have to call it like I see it, and to me it's just nonsense. If you love it, I apologize if it gets you angry. It's just my opinion on it. Don't let that affect how you think about the book or how you feel about the book. If you enjoy it, more power to you. I don't personally right now. So with that being said, I'd like to thank everybody for joining me. Like, share, comment, subscribe, and to all my friends out there, friends don't let friends read Tom King's Batman. Thank you. Good night.